I have suicidal tendencies. Last year I've been cutting myself and I've been taking pills, and I wanted to end it all. So I'm just going to be rambling and rambling. As I ramble around Guadalupe, I'm going to be rambling about a few things that have been on my mind recently. So a lot of expats come to the Philippines and don't really want to associate themselves with other foreigners, other expats. They'd rather be alone, they'd rather spend their time with themselves or with their Filipino girlfriend, not really engaging with other foreigners. And I've actually mentioned this before, where I do think it's important to have friends, have foreign friends, where you meet once a week, once a month, whatever, you hang out, you chat about your girlfriend, saying what upsets you about her. You've got someone to offload on. So I feel personally it's quite important to have other expats who you share common interests with, and you can talk about everything. You can talk about back home, and you can talk about your feelings on living in the Philippines.
Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Big World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for.
So for those of you who are regular watchers of this channel, I associate a lot of my videos with music, and for this video I have thought of the song Disappointed by Public Image Limited, who were formed by Johnny Lydon, who used to be in the Sex Pistols. So the lyrics to Disappointed go, disappointed a few people. Now I've changed it for my benefit. I've changed the lyrics to disappointed by you people, which you'll come to understand once you've been watching this video for a while. I do feel having friends in the Philippines is a good idea, although there needs to be a balance of sharing discussions, talking about your life, the other person talking about their life. Back in my youth, as a teenager, I was always considered a loner. I would spend all my time in my bedroom, doing my own thing. I was quite a shy, introverted boy, which lasted all through from my early teens, 15, 16, 17. I was quite a shy kid, really, and quite introverted. All this changed around the time when I was 17. So I was in the UK. We have 2 years of sixth form, the lower sixth and the upper sixth, where you do A-levels. It was 1978 when I was in the sixth form. So I was into new wave punk. 16, 17. I became more outgoing. But what sparked this was school were putting on a production, a musical called The Cinderella Affair, which was a takeoff on Cinderella. And it was a piece that had been written especially, and there was two characters in The Cinderella Affair that were the ugly stepbrothers. They were casting for the roles of a punk and a teddy boy. And of course, I had short, cropped hair, so I went up for the part of the punk. Hello. And so I got the part, and so this called for singing songs as part of the group, joint songs, but also singing my own song. Alone, my solo. So we rehearsed for this production for months and put it on Christmas. And it was a brilliant success. 3 or 4 nights in the school hall, and it sold out. This brought my character out, and then at the same time, one of my friends who had encouraged me to go up for the part, he was in an amateur dramatic group, and he was always getting up on stage. We would go off on soccer tours, and he would always get up on stage and sing songs. And he was like 17, very confident lad, one of my best mates. He encouraged me to go up for this part in the school play, and he also encouraged me to join the local theatre group. So I became part of an amateur dramatic group. So all this brought me out of my shell. So that was a part of me being more of an extrovert than an introvert. So all my life I've been sort of flitting between being an introvert and an extrovert. Fast forward to my 40s, when I used to hang around with a group, males and females. We all used to go out to clubs, bars, clubs, meet in pubs in London every week. I sort of got lost in that environment because these were quite larger than life characters, and by now I wasn't, as I said, I go through phases of being introvert, extrovert. With these people, they were all extroverts, so I was totally swallowed up. I was lost in the crowd, basically. So I would only answer if they were interested in me, if they were asking questions. If they asked me questions when we go out, I would answer them. But if I wasn't asked a question, then I would get lost in the crowd. So what transpired was, we would go on nights out where everyone would be chatty. I wouldn't say anything. So the following day, when there was talk about the night out, they would make a joke saying, "Was Phil there? Were you there, Phil? You weren't there, were you?" This joke became ongoing. "Were you there?" "No, you weren't there. Were you really there? You can't have been there. I don't remember you being there." And this became more than a joke to me. It became a statement about how I was at that time. It was a joke to them, but to me, it wasn't a joke, because they were sort of belittling me in a way. So bear with me. I'm going somewhere with this. I moved out of London and I moved to Brighton. And so I didn't really see the London crowd anymore. I got some new friends in Brighton and I didn't really go up to London anymore. One of the friends I used to hang around with in Brighton was a very successful architect. And we used to meet up quite regular, go for drinks, chat, talk about our week. And as I say, he was very successful doing all these projects. So he'd say, "How was your week?" And I would start talking about my week. But within a very short space of time, he would take over the conversation. Now, I've had this all my life. You can see in someone where they ask you a question, and when you're responding to their question, they're not really engaged, they're not really listening, their eyes glaze over and they're just not interested in what you're saying. So this is what used to happen. My mate Andy would think of any reason to stop me talking. Be on a nature walk and I'd be talking about something, and to stop me talking, he'd go, "Oh, look at that tree!" Just wasn't interested in anything I was talking about. So of course the conversation was dead then. And then he'd go off on something that he wanted to talk about. Hello. And so I would get my week would be told in about 5 minutes. And so for the rest of the conversation, it was all about him. Now my sister did the same thing. We'd be chatting in her kitchen and she would talk about their lives, ask what I was up to, and then I would say, "Oh yeah, I went to see Chloe in Tunbridge Wells. She's got a new baby." Then my sister would go, "Oh yes, Olivia, she's had a new baby," and then she'd be off on the subject of Olivia and her new baby. So that was it. My input was disregarded. She found something to talk about and she was off on one. A lot of people are just not listeners, are just talkers. They just want to talk about themselves. They've got no interest in other people. The whole time that you're talking, they're just thinking what they're going to say next. No interest in you whatsoever. You can see in their faces where they're just looking for a way in. They're just looking to talk about themselves. Why should I be interested in their shit if they're not interested in mine? So this seems to happen to me all the time, and it's happening quite a lot at the moment where I'm not getting much airtime in my conversations. Back in COVID times, a few of us used to meet up on the roof in the condo we were staying at in Cebu, and every morning we would meet up on the roof and have a conversation about the situation. Well, we couldn't go anywhere. We were up on the roof overlooking Cebu, overlooking the street, and we would talk about things. Now there was three of us. There was a British guy, an American, and me. This is not a joke, this is serious. And the British guy used to talk for England. He would dominate the conversation. 90% of the time he would be talking. And same thing again, when you went to talk, not interested. And one day I didn't go up there, and I think the two of them came to my room to see if I was okay or something. And they turned up at my room, knocked on the door, and same thing happened. He'd go off. He'd say, "What, are you okay? You're not up on the roof." And I would say, "Well," and I'd start to talk about my situation, and he would just talk over the top of me, just ramble over the top of me. And I just said, "Listen, shut up, give me a chance to talk. You're not giving me a chance to talk." And I just exploded because he was not giving me any airtime. Now this is what happens with me. I sort of go, I'm a very good listener. That's my problem. I'm a very good listener. All my life I've been interested in other people. So that is part of my problem, is I'm a good listener. One of my old girlfriends, bless her, Tufty, who I've spoken about before, I remember a lot of things that people say. If you told me something about your situation, your girlfriend's name, she's got 3 siblings, I would remember this and I would bring it up and I would say, "Oh yeah, she's got 3 siblings." And you would say, "What, you remember that?" Because I have a good memory for remembering trivia. So Tufty and I were arguing one day, as we did quite a lot in Margaretting in Essex, and Tufty would say, "You argue unfairly," because I remembered exactly things that she'd told me before, and I've said, "Well, you said on the 27th of August, blah blah blah." But she used to think this was unfair because I remembered everything. So she said, "You argue unfairly," which is totally bizarre. Anyway, as I've said before, when I'm chatting with Filipinos online, I'm never quite aware of the agenda of. It's never always obvious what they want, or when you meet them, what's going to happen. Now on Sunday, I got a message on Pina Love from someone who said, looking for somewhere to crash in Manila tonight, we can hang out. That was her message. Now on her profile she says, looking for somebody to support me. So I was a bit wary. I'm not, when someone says something like that, you think it's financial. You think, if someone says they're looking for someone to support them, you think it's financial. So anyway, Sunday afternoon she messaged me, and then she was coming from Batangas. So her family lived in Batangas, and she was coming back to Manila to go back to nursing college. Now, she wasn't due to go back to nursing college on the Monday, she was due to go back on the Tuesday, so she wanted to have somewhere to stay on the Sunday night, and then going to Quezon City and going back to college on the Tuesday morning. So on the Sunday night she needed somewhere to stay. So she messaged me from the bus coming from Batangas, which is 2 or 3 hours away, and said, "I'll be in Manila by 10. So she actually turned up in Manila by 9, and then she took a motorbike taxi to my hotel in Guadalupe. So she turns up at the hotel and comes up to the room, sits down, makes herself comfortable. So she was meeting schoolmates on Monday to do a school project, which she needed to work on as well. So basically she was going to be staying up all night working on this school project and then going to meet her friends on the Monday at a university near to my hotel. So we sat chatting in my room. She was sitting on the bed, I was sitting on the chair. And she said she was telling me all this, saying she needed to do a project, needed to stay up all night. I don't think there was any attraction in me at all. I think she was just looking for a place to crash. So I said I was going to watch something on Netflix. I said, do you want to watch anything on Netflix? And she said, what are you watching? And I said, I'm watching The Blacklist. I'm on season 7. So she said, well, carry on watching that. And I said, well, you're not going to follow it. So we started watching an episode of The Blacklist in season 7, and I was sort of telling her what was going on, and she was very bright. This is season 7. So, no, thank you. It's very early. Why? So what is it now? Okay, it's now 10 to 11. I've been offered Red Horse, which is just natural around here, but it's lovely. Where was I? So yeah, we're watching The Blacklist. She was a very intelligent girl. I was just telling her the basics about The Blacklist from the previous 7 series, and so she picked it up. She's very intelligent. Anyway, we watched a couple of episodes, and then it got to midnight, and I said, right, I'm going to sleep. So she went off to the lounge in the hotel to work all night. So she worked all night and came back early morning. It was probably between 5 and 6 she came back to the room just as I was waking up. And by now I'm needing to know what's going on. Am I just here to give her internet and somewhere to work or whatever? So I say to her, why did you choose me? Why did you write to me? She said, well, you were the first one to respond. So obviously she sent out a blanket email to everybody in the area saying she needs a place to crash, and I was the first to respond. So it's obvious that she's got no interest in me. Anyway, she's a lovely girl studying nursing. We talked about one of her sisters studying psychology. Now, I'm really interested in human behaviour, and I've got an interest in people, so psychology is of interest to me. Talking about this to her, talking about the fact that, I'm a good listener and people open up to me. And she said, I have suicidal tendencies. Last year, I've been cutting myself and I've been taking pills, and I wanted to end it all. Now this is horrible. This is a horrible story. I hear this a lot in the Philippines. I hear this a lot about mental health. I hear this about people not talking, people not opening up to each other. There's a lot of mental health issues amongst young people in the Philippines. Not talking about how they feel about stuff. She said on the website that she was looking for support. When I asked her about her studies, she said she's on a scholarship, so all her studies are paid for. All she has to pay is something like $200 per semester, which her mother pays for. So she's not after financial support from anybody. So I think when she says on the website that she's after support, I think it's an emotional thing. So when she said she had suicidal tendencies, it was just horrible. So I was just cuddling her. I was just holding her. And she wanted me to hold her, and it was just a lovely moment where we was connected through me comforting her. So as I say, a lot of the time when I'm chatting with these girls, I don't have a clue what their agenda is. And I think this girl's, hello! Her agenda wasn't to get jiggy with me. Her agenda was just to be wanted, just to be needed, just to be held. This rambling that I've been doing, I am going somewhere. Oh, that's very kind of you.
Do you have a page?
I do have a page. You can follow. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Do you want to say hello?
Hi.
Let me see your page, sir.
It's
Emperador Lights.
Yeah.
it's birthday. Happy birthday.
37th birthday.
Happy birthday, sir. It's too early to drink. I would
It's early to drink.
enjoy.
Just cards in the...
Yes, yes. Happy birthday.
Oh, that's you, sir.
You don't look a day over 37.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. So if you like what you're seeing here and want to stay connected with life in the Philippines, I think you need to subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you. Yesterday I did a very big ramble. I walked from Guadalupe, this area, to Ortigas, which is only probably 5 kilometers away. But in the afternoon I walked 15 kilometers because I was walking around Shangri-La shopping mall. So I did 15 kilometers all afternoon. I love walking, and I haven't been walking that much for a long time. I get to stages where I think, as I got to a stage where my head burst with emotion needing to talk, I go through stages when I'm with a girlfriend and thinking, oh, I need to split up. I always reach a point where I need to stop. So yesterday I thought, I need to walk. So I walked, and it was brilliant. So I was in Ortigas, and then I needed to come back, and the trains would have been unbearable coming back to Guadalupe from there at rush hour. So I needed to get a motorcycle taxi. So I got a motorcycle taxi, and this guy was lovely. He was such a lovely guy. I love getting on motorcycle taxis, and most of the time you can have an interesting conversation with the drivers. As soon as I got on the bike yesterday afternoon, this guy wanted to engage with me, and it was lovely. He wanted to talk to me. He was asking where I was from, how long I'd been here. He was interested in wanting to know my story. He asked me if I had a girlfriend or whatever, a wife, and I asked him, and he said he'd just split up with his girlfriend. He's 26, she was 25. They've been together 4 years, and she cheated on him. Now, he says this is a common thing here. It's not just the guys. He's a loyal guy, he said. He was loyal to her. It's not just the guys who are the cheaters here. Filipinas are the cheaters as well, which I've been trying to say for a long time. Do I trust Filipinas? Guilty until proven innocent. Anyway, that's not the point of this vlog. The point of this vlog is to talk about connections and talking, and we need to talk. Now, this is what I love about the Philippines. Filipinos are interested in you. They want to know your situation. I've come to a dead end. I didn't realise that was a dead end. One of the major reasons why I'm in the Philippines is the people. Now, I've talked about this quite a lot before, where you go to Thailand, Vietnam, infrastructure in these places is a lot better than it is in the Philippines. But you can't go into a 7-Eleven in Thailand and have a conversation with the girl who works on the checkout, because 99% of what you say to the girl in Thailand on the checkout, she's not going to understand. There's a song there. I'm in love with the girl in the Virgin Megastore checkout desk. That's a very old song. None of you will remember that song. But anyway, that just came to mind, as songs do with me. What I love about the Philippines is having those conversations with people on a daily basis. Everywhere you go on the street, you talk to people and you just have conversations, which is lovely. So to go back to where I started this vlog with the song Disappointed, a lot of the times when I went out with my mates, I would come home and this song would come to mind, where what was the point of me going out? Why did I bother going out with them? One of the reasons why I probably do love spending time on my own is because of that fact, is because of the fact that there's no emotional connection with you and somebody else when you're reading a book. Talking about my friends in Brighton where they would take over the conversation. So I would be out in Brighton and I would be sitting somewhere lovely, reading a book on a sunny afternoon, sitting on the seafront. I'll be happy as Larry, sitting there reading, cheese toasty, cup of tea, shirt off, enjoying the rays. And then one of my mates would turn up. One of my mates who, hello, how are you?
Shout out.
He was a lovely guy, Brian, he was a lovely guy. He was in his 70s at the time. But he would come and he would walk up to me and I'm sitting there in my element and I'd go, and my face would drop and I'd go, oh, and you can off. Come and sit there, interrupt my piece and talk about stuff that he's spoken about forever, all the time, repeated stories. So I don't want to hear that. I'd rather stay and read my book. So the song Disappointed keeps reoccurring on my turntable when I find myself in situations disappointed of you people. So my point of all this rambling, whilst I ramble, is that we need connections. We need a connection in life. We need to talk to people. Hello. We need people. We can't rely on our own company too much. We need people. But we need a balance. So it might be all well and good spending time on our own, but we do need to be with other people. But the people who come into our lives, we need to be able to express ourselves. We don't want to be surrounded by people who are dominating us. So I do feel that we should have friends in the Philippines as expats, to bounce off, to be with, to share situations with. There needs to be a balance.
Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't. Obviously. Thank you.
We can't allow ourselves to be suffocated in their presence. We need to have a voice too. So, make new friends, but don't let them suffocate you. Don't let them suppress you, like what happened to me back in the day. Keep your voice, everybody. Keep your voice. So how do you feel about making friends in the Philippines? Are you happy on your own? Do you make friends who you meet up with on a regular basis? What is your situation? And if you were coming to the Philippines, would you want to make friends, or would you be quite happy as a lone ranger? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This has been a bit of a rambling video, but there's some things I needed to get off my chest, and what better than to share them with you. Take care, everyone. God bless. Take care.
You've been watching Uncle, the man from Big World Cinema. Please like, subscribe and share with your friends.